Before we talk about anything else, let's start off with a basic question. What is hunger? Well, hunger in the dictionary can be defined as feelings of discomfort or weakness caused by lack of food. What we think about the word hunger and what the word means to us can be influenced by what we see on social media every day. Often on television, hunger can be portrayed by hungry mothers unable to provide for their kids' starving mouths, or famine-struck children begging for scraps on the streets. Situations of acute hunger or extreme starvation can distract us from the word's simple meaning. Simply put, hunger is when the victim cannot attain the recommended 2,100 calories for the average person, thus resulting in lack of energy, inability to concentrate, and a weak immune system, which in the long run can make the victim vulnerable to any passing diseases. Now that we know what the word hunger means, let's move on and talk about what causes hunger. You would be amazed to know that the world produces more than enough food to feed the entire global population of 7 billion people. Yet 1 person in every 8 on Earth goes to bed hungry. That's a shocking 875 million hungry people. There are many things that can be said to be the main contributor to hunger. They're all interconnected, but here are a few more commonly known ones. Number 1. Poverty trap. Just like the name suggests, poverty can be a trap that cycles round and round within the country. In poorer parts of the world, people living in poverty cannot afford food for themselves or for their families. This makes them weaker and render them unable to work. When this happens, the poor not only become hungry, but also unable to sustain themselves. In short, the poor are hungry and hunger traps them in poverty. Number 2. War and displacement. War and violence may seem like a lot, but other than the lives taken by war, there are even more people who have to flee from their homes in order to escape that violence. When a large group of people flees from one place to another, it's called displacement. And often with displacement, hunger emergencies emerge as the refugees find themselves without food or a home. Other than food emergencies, many times in war, food can be used as a weapon against the enemy. Soldiers from opposing sides seize power over food and livestock, wrecking local markets, thus starving the enemy into submission. Number 3. Food wastage. Even though we produce enough food to feed the entire global population of 7 billion people, it's still shocking to know that 1/3 of all food produced are never even consumed. Now that we know what the word hunger means and what things can lead to or cause hunger, let's move on to the last question and talk about who are the hungry. The hunger community can be divided into 4 main groups: rural residents, farmers, women, and children. Rural residents refer to people who live in rural areas, mainly in Asia and Africa. 3/4 of all hungry people live in rural areas. These people are mostly dependent on agriculture for food, which makes them more prone to crop crisis. Hungry farmers make up half of the world's hungry, and usually survive off of marginal lands prone to natural disasters like floods or droughts. When it comes to hunger and poverty, women are more affected than men due to traditions and society. Due to undernourishment during pregnancy, 17 million children are born underweight annually in developing countries. Now that we know the basics of hunger, let's move on and talk about one of the solutions that the World Feeding Program has come up with. One of the easiest ways to stop hunger is to start by feeding the children, which is exactly what the school meal program does. First of all, the school feeding program acts as a safety net and helps parents send kids to school. In developing nations or third world countries, parents often do not have the money to send their kids to school. But what the school meals program does is, if you attend school for a certain amount of days, you not only get to eat lunch at school, but you can also take a ration to take home for your family. This not only ensures that the kids get the education that they need, the take-home rations also can feed their family and make sure that they are not hungry. The school meals program is also ran locally by the local farmers. By using local goods that the local farmers can produce, this ensures that the farmer gets the money that they need, which can also help break the poverty cycle. For more information, please visit the World Food Program at www.wfp.org.